Some people chase dreams. Others answer a calling from God, a call to serve. Located in Ionia, Michigan, a small aviation school is doing big things, preparing men and women to answer God's calling, to serve far beyond Michigan. Meet Terry Yoder, president of SMAT Aviation, a missionary aviation school where students are being trained and sent to carry hope, to carry help, to share the good news into some of the most remote places on the face of the earth. And I'm here to learn how they do that. My name is Cliff Duvenois, and we are Total Michigan.
Well, our mission here at SMAT is to glorify God by providing professional aviation training to a high standard that equips individuals to serve God and others through aviation. And so we focus primarily on cross-cultural missions, training for that missionary pilot cross-cultural context in mind, but not exclusively. But because we have that as our mission, we seek to send out people that are going to be able to serve in some of the most remote locations around the world where transportation is difficult or maybe even impossible other than walking. And so the airplane or the helicopter, it truly becomes a lifeline.
With this much on the line, I had to wonder, what kind of training do these students need? What exactly do these future pilots have to know?
Thinking of missionary aviation, you're going into some really highly technically challenging airstrips. They're not the big, open, wide runways that we enjoy here in the United States when we're flying in the airlines. They literally are going into a dirt runway that is cut into the side of a mountain with a machete, not with excavating equipment. There's a lot of things that a missionary pilot has to think about and be prepared for. And that includes the maintenance piece of things too. So most of the mission organizations that use aviation as a tool, they do require their pilots to also be mechanics. That's not exclusively true, but it's primarily true. In order to be a school that is certified to teach aircraft maintenance technicians, we have to meet the FAA's standard. The same is true for flight training. We have to meet an FAA standard. Over and above that, because we're an educational institution, we also acquired accreditation as a technical school, and that started back in 2011. So that opens up a lot of opportunities for our students to be able to participate in federal financial aid. It allows us to be able to bring international students in. And it's a good quality control. The other thing is that students can graduate from here having a technical skill set, technical trade, and a college or university could look at that because it's an accredited school and they can transfer in credits into a college or university towards a degree that they might be working toward. There are two standalone programs. So we have a 1-year training for the maintenance training. So you can earn your airframe and power plant certificate in a 12-month period of time. We have another standalone flight training program that also is 12 months. So you can learn, maybe never having flown before, and learn to become a commercial pilot certificate with an instrument rating, 250 hours of flight time in a 1-year period of time.
Yes.
So it's a pretty intense program. And we know that if you're riding along on an airplane, that you appreciate that there's a high quality and high level of training that is going to make that airplane safe, whether it's on the maintenance side or on the flight side.
For sure, the training is intense. But when dealing with another culture, the unexpected is always lurking right around the next corner.
Actually, there's several of our graduates working with one of the mission organizations in Papua New Guinea. And they're focused on medical evacuations. So there's stories of people who are in a village, they get into a spear fight and literally they have transported patients who have a spear still sticking out of their side, and they've moved them from the village to a hospital where they can get the care that they need. And then while they're in the hospital, they're able to go and come alongside that patient and share Jesus with them. And then, a week later, when they're out of the hospital, they're flying back to the village and they're being able to just carry the gospel because they've helped out, they've served, they've met a physical need, and that gives them the opportunity to be able to share Jesus with them. One story that was recently shared with our students, a graduate from several years ago, 13, 14 years ago actually, who now serves in Brazil. He and his wife really had a heart for serving the national pastors. And so they use airplanes to move Brazilian pastors from one village to another all along the Amazon River Basin. They use a float plane, they use land plane, and they're seeing the gospel being spread from one village to another as they train and disciple these different missionaries that are there. The easiest way is go to the website, smat.edu, smat.edu. There's a lot of information that is there, including our phone number, so you can give us a call if you'd like to take a visit. I love to give tours of this place. I love to show you what SMAT's all about. Love to get you engaged with some of the students. We even have students, sometimes prospective students, who will come and shadow for a day. So if you're somebody who's interested in learning more about what this training environment looks like, and you're thinking pretty seriously about, man, should I do this or not? What would it be like to be a student? Well, come here for a day and shadow one of our students or a couple of our students. You can go for a training flight with them. So there's a lot of different ways that we can get you plugged in.
For some, the sky's the limit. For others, the sky is home. For SMAT Aviation, we've seen what happens when calling meets preparation. Men and women train not for comfort, but for service. Service that reaches people in hard places. Service that shows up when roads disappear. Conditions are unforgiving, and the work demands excellence. This is the story of a small school in Michigan, doing work that reaches far beyond its borders, preparing people to serve God and others every time they climb into an airplane, with the tires leaving the ground, to slip the surly bonds of earth, to touch the face of God. My name is Cliff Dubenois, and we are Total Michigan.